I remember what I used to eat, like no breakfast, and for dinner, a couple of oranges and a salad. That was my diet.
Can you do that now?
No.
Do you think you could do something like that
if
now?
if you want, if you want to hear a news in the newspaper tomorrow, like woman and child killed in a house in Italy. Sorry, the joke was nice, but the delivery was terrible. Sorry.
They'll call him the spaghetti Wi-Fi killer.
Yeah.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Those spaghetti internet is going to kick in right. There it is. Hey, what the heck? Is your internet actually holding up, Matty?
It looks like it.
It looks good, pal. What is going on?
What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
Okay, yeah, because it wasn't uploading yet. Okay, now it started. It was at 0%, and all of a sudden it started 5, 10, and you're like, oh, okay, back to normal. Yeah.
There it is. Welcome to the bad internet that will never get any better.
No chance.
It's awful now.
No chance at all.
There it is.
Maybe
It
in
is like
5/10 years, maybe.
Yeah. But right now, we're going to appreciate the fact that you look like an America Online porn JPEG that's slowly coming up.
I look like Mario Bros. Mario Bros.
Yeah, really. You're like 8-bit. You know what I mean?
I'm like 6 pixels on your computer screen.
We're going to get content struck because you did the Mario Brothers theme song. All right, this is episode 153. Shawn, 153.
156.
Goddamn. All right. I'm going. I got it right.
Shawn, by the way, sorry
time.
to interrupt, but does the 156? Maybe I've already asked you, and sorry if I did. But is 156 including the audio interviews that you used to do and everything else, or no? No. Okay. Okay.
We haven't done 156 of these episodes because I would feel
No,
bad. I would be so bored by you by now.
Since COVID?
It's my YouTube channel. It's since I started a YouTube channel and I changed it from Inkpulp Audio to the Inkpulp Podcast, which was COVID exactly. Okay. That's when I started renumbering because the format changed, the podcast changed,
and that's when he actually
the quality bumped
to
up.
count. So that's why.
With
COVID, he decided,
Shawn is
I'm
just
gonna study
throwing
some
a
math.
lot of. He started counting past his fingers and toes, and other people's fingers and toes. Okay, listen, 156. Shawn, as always, jokes aside, thank you for having us here.
Thank you, brother.
for being on here.
We've already commented on your internet. You're always a pleasure to have around. As a matter of fact, at this point, you're not a guest anymore, right? You're just a regular.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you guys aren't guests.
Yeah. You do you feel like you're a mainstay, or do you still feel like the guy who was uninvited and just walked into the place and sat on somebody's couch?
No. Don't change history, brother. Like what happened was that you invited me once a few months ago, and then after the episode, in private, you asked me, "Hey, do you want to do it regularly?" So I was invited.
Hold on. That was not me.
You both did.
Right?
Shut up.
I know. I was against the idea, but Shawn was like, Shawn was like, Eric, I can't have you do all the talking all the time. I clearly don't have anything to contribute to the conversation. At the very least, Matteos tries to contribute. So let's bring him in so the hour goes by a lot faster.
All right.
Seriously, man. It's I look forward to Wednesdays when it's just us. Not to say anything bad about the guests, because obviously those are great. Those are great. I learn a lot from the guys that we bring on. We get for me personally, selfishly, it's always great to see other people's experiences when they're going through their creative processes, especially when they're self-publishing. So that's a big gain for me. But when we're just hanging out and shooting the shit, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, clearly, people are reacting very positively to when it's just us chit-chatting, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I don't know what that is because I'm bored as fuck 75, 80% of the time, but I'm glad that somebody's getting value out of it.
Yeah, I
People
think
like
there's
it. People say it's funny and informative.
Yeah, it's another side of the podcast when it's the three of us, or just us, maybe Shawn and I, or Eric and I. I think it becomes more like of a comedy/comics, and I think that people appreciate that as well. Just people talking.
Can I ask you something, Matty? Pretend that Shawn's not here, right? Mm-hmm. You've done a version of this show when it's just you and I talking, and then when it's just you and Shawn talking, right? Don't be afraid to hurt feelings, but which version do you like better?
It's the Fratello, I think. I just don't like your face, Eric.
Bada
I'm
boom.
sorry.
You don't like my face. I can read between the lines that it's something that you feel that you need to say because somebody here is really too soft. You know what I mean? So I get it, Matteo. Wink. I get it.
No, I gotta say, with Shawn, it's more like just conversational. And with you, since we come from a recent episode where it was just you and I, Eric, and it was more. There was more. How do you say it? There was more of a goal to the conversation. So it's two different things. I'm just being serious for a second, but
yeah, I that's been my experience too. When it's just me and Mateo, we're fucking around and being dum-dums and having fun. Yeah. When Eric and I get into it, like just us two, it seems to be a more in-depth conversation with some
which is also what happens in general when we do a podcast. You and I, Shawn, we start being silly, and then Eric is the grown-up that put us back online. It's it's normal.
Speaking of being a grown-up, I was complimenting Mateo about that shirt that he's wearing. And I said, between the two of you, it's always a delight to be like, I wonder what these idiots are going to wear today. Now, Shawn, you went with something a little bit muted. I'm going to guess that you need to do laundry, right? It's been a couple of weeks.
I was in such a rush. I just grabbed a baby blue t-shirt and threw it on.
No, I was going to say, that's not even your shirt. That's somebody from the street. You were just grabbing.
I like Matteo's shirt, though. I do like that shirt.
Thanks,
no, I do.
By the way, this is one of the last. You guys have the balls to pull that shit off. One of the last tank tops that I'm gonna be wearing because soon, summer is gonna be over here. So we'll go t-shirt for a second, and then back to sweaters and hoodies. My UFC.
I'm looking forward to.
Do you feel like you guys pack on weight during the winter because you're wearing bigger clothes? Like you almost allow yourself the idea of like to get bigger because now it's wintertime and you're packing it on like bears going into
I was thinking
going into hibernation.
Bears, as you were saying it. Literally, I was like bears. I was about to say it. So
Mateo, you'll think this is funny. My wife just discovered two bears in a cave. Two bears, one cave.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, she saw some clips online. She's like, Shawn, that guy Bert, he has this show with this other guy. I'm like, yeah. And she saw some clips. She's like, they're so fucking funny. Yeah. She saw the Kool-Aid one.
Oh yeah, well
she's like, this is. I was like,
Steph. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, Steph, that's Tom Segura, that's Bert Kreischer. This is a popular podcast. Yeah. Welcome to what the world is known. But Eric, to answer your question, no, I don't pack on because of that. I'd say the only time of year I pack on a little bit of weight is during holiday season because I'm eating not
when we're doing conventions, not when we're like when we're doing conventions back to back to back and eating a lot of crap there. Because you guys, I have seen you pack away multiple breakfasts when you're in Seattle. Like you guys are creatures of habit. You know what I mean? Like I can like if we were in a forest, I can track you guys. You know, like, oh, fucking Shawn and Matteos have been here.
Yeah.
They walk the same exact way every single fucking time. You know? Right. But I've seen you guys pack away food where I'm like, these guys are marathon runners.
Yeah. At a convention, yeah. But it's rare that I'm doing like conventions back to back to back. That doesn't happen.
You're about to do New York. And I've seen so the difference, I think here, I don't know. It's not a commentary on the quality of food. Maybe it is. Forgive me if it is, right? Like when we went to Italy, we were nonstop eating.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I just remember, I just remember thinking to myself, I'm not gonna, this is day 2. I got to take it easy. Right. And I would look over to you guys and it's like that game Hungry Hippo where you just bash the button. And there's this opening and closing mouth where I'm like, you guys are packing away a lot of like, I thought rich food, you know?
Yeah, but you got to consider,
I don't know what it is about
you
it.
have a superpower, Eric, which is maybe we talk about it already. Maybe it was just when it was just you and I, Shawn. But you have this superpower that your brain tells you, all right, you're full now, so you can stop eating. Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, that's not a superpower, friend. That's just like a regular brain function.
Fucking amazing. I wish I had that, but I don't have it. And I'm really envious. You know, I was saying it with a lot of envy, and I don't have it. Like we were talking. Yeah, it was the podcast with just the two of us, Shawn, and we were talking about me losing weight.
I remember.
I'm losing weight. But it's a struggle. Like the question that you asked before, when you gain weight in which period of the year, like if I don't control myself, it's a constant thing. Like it's never gonna end. Like the reason why I'm
it's
losing weight,
it's the shark, dude.
Yeah,
it's the shark.
Dumb shark mode. Yeah. Dumb shark mode.
Yeah. So the only
Soon
way
the dumb shark is going to be the dumb whale.
Yeah. If I control myself, I stay at the same level of weight. And if I do a lot of sacrifices, like I'm doing right now, like I'm not eating dessert when I go out for dinner, just drinking one glass of wine stuff like that. When I suffer, then I lose weight. But it's a real struggle. Like, and if I contain myself, like
is it because
so and so, that's when I'm gonna be, more or less the same weight during the year. But as soon as I unleash the beast, like fuck it, like it's gonna be like 20 pounds in a month. It's incredible.
Can I tell you? I have
unleash the beast,
Mattteo. I have a theory, right? Yeah. And tell me if this anywhere near true. Okay. Mm-hmm. 10 years ago, less than, more, maybe less than, probably more than, but 10 years ago, you spent a significant amount of time in the United States. I mean, the maximum amount that you could stay over here based on the visa. You stayed over here, right? And I just remember, I think that may have broken your brain as far as like proportions are concerned.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they do not have a medium size here. No. No.
And
especially when you're with Jason.
Here's the two things that's working. Here's the two things that's working in Mattteo against Mattteo. Number one, he was taught as a kid, a good Catholic child, to finish everything off of his
because
plate.
Children are starving in Africa. That's I think that's
because children are starving in Africa, right? And Michael Jackson is singing songs about them. So
is that an actual quote from your parents? Did your parents say
but
that?
It's the usual, it's what everybody says. It's the stereotype of kids.
No, it's written in Italian at the bottom of his plate, and as soon as he can see it, that's when he can fucking stop eating, right? Okay, so that's one. You have to eat everything off of your plate because you're that's the way you're raised. But then you couple that with the idea that portions are big when you get here. Yeah. I don't know how many people who I've known come to visit the United States. As close as the Canadian border, they make a visit down here. You know what I mean? They drive over and they see the portions that you get at like a large at McDonald's is, you know, like a medium at McDonald's is an extra large where they come from.
Yeah.
Like you couple those two things with a guy who's already programmed to eat everything, or else he feels bad. Like he has to call his mom and apologize or whatever. And I think that broke you just a little bit. No?
Oh yeah,
Is that accurate?
definitely. That's exactly what you said. Those 2 months when I stayed in the States, that's at the end of those 2 months, that's when I was the heaviest of my life, in my whole life. I went like 210, I think, something like that.
What's your normal what's your normal operating weight?
Normally 185, I would say. Yeah, 185.
Wow.
And now I'm it's
I'm looking at my phone because
is like 85
these
kilos,
photos of us.
84, 85 kilos. Now I'm 82, and I'm planning to reach like 75 kilos. If I can, maybe 70 kilos, which is, I don't know, 155. I don't know. You gotta do the conversion. But yeah.
Dude, I saw this one photo that you sent of me a long, long time ago where I was like, you had like that, what's the term for it? You had like dick root, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like the, you ever heard of dick root before?
Yeah, I know
Shawn?
what it is.
You look like a confused old man.
It's like that.
It's like that,
oblique,
you know.
Muscles, the oblique abs.
It's the gutter that goes down his groin.
Oh, the
you know
V dick ab, as Bobby Kelly calls it, the V dick ab.
I can find that picture. I would love to do that. You know. Yeah. I have it on my phone.
But I mean, that's when you said
Jamie to.
That's when you said you would just do exercise. You would just do sit-ups for the sake of sit-ups. It was like sit-ups were like breathing for you.
Oh yeah. I was just doing a lot of abs at home, constantly. Like I would say 10 times a day. Like whenever I had a second, let's just do abs, and just a few other things like curls. Like for biceps, just a few muscles, and that's it. So it was the most fucked up program ever. And I would eat. I remember what I used to eat, like no breakfast, and for lunch, I would have just a bowl of rice with some soy sauce, and for dinner, a couple of oranges and a salad with no condiment, just lemon on it. That was my diet.
Can you do that now?
No.
Do you think you could do something like that now?
if you want, you know, if you want to hear a news in the newspaper tomorrow, like woman and child killed in a house in Italy. Yeah. Sorry, the joke was nice, but the delivery was terrible. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, the delivery was morbid. But here's, listen.
They'll call him the spaghetti Wi-Fi killer.
Yeah.
I thought that joke was going to go completely different. I thought when he said, like, you know, woman, you know, I thought he was he's referring to himself in his overall body shape. And I was like, what's he going to say about like woman discovered starving to death in the corner, but not really they find out that it's not a woman. It's a womanly shaped man.
Yeah, womanly shaped man
bearded
becomes man-shaped man. Finally, after years of trying. But yeah. I'll send Jamie the picture of what I looked like back then. I was super, super skinny, and you know, I looked nice, to be honest with you. But I
saw a version of Shawn in that weight range, and I like if I was a dog that got used to Shawn as he is right now, I would bark at him and like, I don't recognize that dude.
Oh, really?
You know,
when I was super thin, you mean?
He's unrecognizable to me. I was like, that's a weirdo guy. That guy goes out and touches kids, you know. That guy uses his physique to take advantage of underage women.
Well, yeah. So just to give you an idea of the difference for an Italian when it goes to the States for food portions, Like, okay, a standard portion of pasta, for example, which is the main course for us. It's the first course. We have first.
Say it again. Say pasta again. Why do you say it like pasta? Like you're from the freaking...
sorry.
Why do you
pasta.
say it like Shawn?
Pasta.
There it is. You're an Italian. Why did you say pasta?
Well, because I'm talking in English right now. I'm speaking English, so
Oh, wow.
And
that's what he thinks we sound like, Shawn.
So, what was I going to say?
Pasta.
Okay, pasta. So a normal portion, like a standard portion, would be 100 grams. All right. You don't know what grams are, but you do the translation with your computers.
I know what grams are.
Okay.
Shawn knows what grams.
Oh yeah,
for
right.
a completely fucking
right.
different
fucking
reason.
Junkie.
This is why you should not trust this man at all. You know.
So, okay, and that's the first course in a meal. All right. So in the States,
so it's about 3.5 ounces for you imperialists, for you Americans.
Okay. So 100 grams. In the States, you have a bowl of pasta as a side, which is mac and cheese. So not only it's pasta, it's covered in cheese, which notoriously is one of the fattest thing that ever existed, you know? So, and it's normally in the States, when I see it, it's between 200 and 250, sometimes 300 grams. All right. So basically, what should be a side for you, to me, would be almost the amount of food that I should eat in one day. All right.
As a full meal.
Yeah. As a full meal.
No, not in one day. I see you're saying because combined,
more
right?
or less
combined,
one day. If I eat that, I have just a bunch of calories to play with during the day, you know?
Yeah.
So just to give you a comparison in terms of, you know.
Yeah, I remember we were in, we were in the Bellagio, right? Or in Bellagio over there in Italy when we went to go visit for a show.
Yeah.
And we were all walking up and down the city. And we finally found a restaurant for lunch, and we sit down, we order. Clearly people have built up their appetites, not just because of the drive, but obviously just like walking around. And I remember some of the people that we were, just one particular individual, I won't say their name. The person that we were traveling with, their food comes out and they have one of those like big, like the Italians have a really great propensity for presentation, right? As far as food is concerned, right? This big bowl comes out, but it's a trick bowl, you know, because it's a big bowl like this. And inside the bowl was a smaller bowl.
There's a smaller bowl.
You know what I mean? It dips. It dips in like it's a trick bowl. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was the part that was filled with 100 grams worth of pasta. And they turn to me and they look at it and they get like the saddest face because it just proportionally was not what the bowl was promising. But also I think in their head, they were like so hungry and they get the trick bowl inside. So I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. So, you know, to me, it's really like a killer when I come to the States, because in my head, you know, I have a really, as you said, I have a really, really hard time not finishing what I have in my plate. Also, it comes from my mom, I think. A little psychology time here. Yeah. I realized that by going to therapy,
therapy time.
Yeah, by going to therapy, I've been realizing that in this last couple of years, like, because I see how my mom behaves when there's guests or whatever. Even if, you know, we are their guests or their house, if she has like, I don't know, like 5 people for dinner, she cooks for 10/15 people. It really makes no sense.
Listen, I mean,
but
every mom does that.
Yeah, all right.
Every mom
that's
does
a mom
that.
thing.
Yeah, but
Steph does that too when she makes dinner.
When you have little kids, like, you should, the parent's job is to teach them this is enough. And by the way, nobody knows in reality what is enough. But you got to show that you know how much is enough. That's what I'm learning from my girlfriend now with our kid. She's like, at a certain point, she's like, you had enough. That's it. You're not going to die today. You're fine. and it's a precious lesson.
Wait. Who is she saying this to, the child or you?
No, I mean, I'm translating her words. I'm putting words in her mouth. She doesn't say that. She just says, that's enough. But it's an important thing for a kid.
But who is she saying? Who is she saying it to? Is she saying it to your kid?
To our kid. Okay. She's like, okay, yeah, you're fine.
Okay. That was enough. She was saying it to Matteo.
That was enough food. You're fine, and it's good. While like my instinct would be, let's keep giving him stuff. You want some ricotta cheese? There you go, and see if he eats it. And then, you don't want that? Oh, let's pick some fruit. You want a peach? You want to try this one? Or should I cook more pasta? And it never ends, But by doing this, you don't give your kid the tools to understand that he's not gonna die. He's gonna be fine after a second, So it's gonna be it's gonna be fine. And again, you don't know because it's his body, it's not yours. So you don't know when he's full. You gotta teach him that he's full, even if you don't know.
Yeah.
That's the secret. Instead, what my mom has always done is like, there's everything. You fucking deal with that, And for a kid, it destroys them because it doesn't give them the tool to understand that it's fine, So it's never fine. It's always a battle for me. It's me versus the food. Like I see a mountain that I have to climb, And it's crazy, but it is. And I'm sorry, like if this conversation would be in Italian, everything would be more clear because I would have the specific words for it. So I understand that my words,
it though, man.
Don't make sense sometimes.
No, you're being clear. Okay. You're being very clear.
You're coming in loud and clear.
So I wasn't given the tools. And even now when I cook for myself, I see what I see, like, especially now that I have to be, really controlling with portions and stuff. Still, like, I've done this like a million times. I cook for myself, but still, and I know that those portions are gonna be fine because I've done it yesterday and at the end of the meal, I was full. But every time I pour the pasta into the bowl, I'm like, I fear it's not gonna be enough. Oh my God. That's what happens in my brain because it's just still, it's there in my brain, that fear that it's not gonna be enough. Because nobody told me, nobody gave me that tool that it's gonna be enough, So, and I'm so appreciative just watching my girlfriend with our son with that confidence. Like you've had enough. It's fine,
Yeah. Yeah. Let me speak on that. Let me speak for at least a portion of moms who are out there. I'll speak for my mother, and I think I know where it comes from when she says like, you should eat, we came from a very poor family, right? And the idea that there was ever going to be an abundance of food was non-existent, right? It was so when food did come, right, and especially when we started, not being in a place where we were coming, we weren't in poverty by any means, but I came from a very humble, upbringing. Yeah. And so when the idea of poverty not being part of the equation anymore, in which we had to be very diligent about the food that we were, the amount of food that we were eating, especially when we came to the United States, right? Like, then suddenly, that became like a oh, thank God we have this, and therefore you should have as much of it as possible. That also feeds into what you were talking about, which is like the programming that you get from your parents. Yeah. You know what I'm coming from? So you think about where her history and sort of the struggles that she went through. She never wants that for her kid. And so now that she now has the opportunity to provide for me in that capacity, right? All the stops are gone, all the limitations are gone, and now she's programming you with with some, with the weird code that as a kid, you don't know any different. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I guess this is okay to do, Mind you, I'm not putting that on my mom. I'm just like, I'm trying to have a better understanding of where that's coming from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that from my mom, it comes from she has a really hard time dealing with needs, desire, all this kind of stuff. So she every time she has to deal with that, even when she needs something, all of a sudden she's not able to ask. So she's gotta make up a need that I have in order for her not to ask.
I'm in touch with that.
So, for example, like what happened, it was a few months ago. All of a sudden, she calls me in the morning, and I'm like, "Hey, mom, what's up?" And she's like, "I'm at the grocery store. Do you guys need us to buy you food and stuff?" I'm like, "What? Like, that's weird. Like, what?" Already, I'm defensive. I'm like, "Wait, what? Why?" What the fuck are you asking me? Like, we go to the grocery store, we buy stuff. So I'm already suspicious there because I know that's something, it's boiling, And then all day long, she's like, "Oh, do you need dad to come over there?" And how do you say with the grass and to cut the grass and
mow the
lawn?
The
Yeah.
lawn.
And she kept asking me, "Oh, do you need this? Do you need that?" And it was constant texting all day long. And I was like, "No, I don't need that. Why the fuck are you asking?" And at the end of the day, only at the end of the day, when
you don't say, "What the fuck are you asking to your mom?"
It was just in my head. Yeah, no, I'll never do that. But at the end of the day, when she ran out of things that I might need, she was like, "I really miss the kid. Can I come and see him?" Why the fuck did you ask in the first place? I would say yes. There's no problem. You're his grandmother. Of course I want you to see him whenever you want, But the whole day I had to fight against this fucking caterpillar who's like, "Oh, do you need this? Oh, maybe you need that. Oh, maybe you need that." Because she wasn't able to ask me, what she needed, So
why a caterpillar?
I don't know. It's just something that goes forward and, crashes everything, But yeah,
it sounds like that's just a conversation that you need to have with your mom to be like, if you just want to visit your grandkid.
Yeah, basically, this is what this podcast is. I'm trying to talk to my mom, about stuff, but I can't, so I'm using this, and hopefully she'll learn English sooner or later. And, finally she'll add the
I was
answers.
going to say, it's still not going to work because we're fucking speaking English. And I don't know how good your mom's English was. I'll say this, though.
Yeah.
She cooks like a beast.
Oh,
the
yeah,
one time
She's
that
an
we had the
amazing
opportunity
cook,
to go visit them.
I haven't had that.
Yeah.
It is.
I've had Matteo's cooking.
Well, she invited us over, right? I got a chance to go meet them. I don't know if they're still in the same place, but
they moved in my
was this right after you got married?
Now, which is close.
This was
to
the first
where
time
they used to live. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, we're.
Yeah. This is when I think the first time Cassandra and I went to go visit. Matteo rolled out the red carpet for us at his place, and then we had an opportunity to visit his mom. Was it? I don't think was Cassandra with us. I can't remember, but
it was that. Yeah,
I just know it was good food, man. Every time I go visit Italy, it's all I can do to not eat everything.
I'll tell you what, we have to, Matteo, you're gonna have to help with this. We need to get a convention lined up in Naples so that the three of us can go and record the entire trip and just have hours of comedy gold of Matteo in Naples.
I mean, we'll probably be ending the show with no money, but a lot of socks.
I'll never have to buy a pack of tissue ever,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, listen. How the fuck did we get here? Oh, I'm just asking you guys if there's a certain time of year where you guys put this stuff on because,
What about you, Eric?
Historically, that's what I've recognized. For whatever reason, it's not necessarily even the winter time, but it's associated with it, right? Mm-hmm. So here's the trap that I see, right? Whenever cold weather kicks on, right? I have a tendency to want to be comfortable and warm and, you know what I mean? Like nice and cozy and toasty. So I put on clothing that facilitates that.
Of course.
Right. And so I put that clothing on and I go like, this feels kind of good. And that clothing typically allows for as much room as possible.
But also,
so you let yourself go because of the clothing.
I'll say, can I tell you another thing?
There's
yesterday
direct,
I was in
more
my
direct correlation. Sorry to interrupt, Eric. It's going to be quick. Also,
no, go.
Aside from the clothes, there's a direct correlation, like between the fact that you eat more, you gain more calories, which will help you in wintertime. So that's the reason, for example, why in Italy, in the north, they use butter more than in the south, because in general, in the north, you have colder, temperatures. So that's
for sure. Yeah. That's like more that's the underlying biological, foundation concept of like putting on that weight because winter is coming and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That makes total sense to me. So what was I about to say? Okay. So yesterday I was helping my wife deal with our kids' laundry, which by the way is nonstop. I can't believe I tell her at this stage in their lives, right? Super young, still toddlers. I'm like, you do so much laundry. Yeah. Yeah, and she's like, it's easily 4 days worth where I'm just sitting here making sure. And you couple that with my wife's OCD, God bless her. You couple that with my wife's OCD where everything, like every little stain needs to be addressed. Oh man, it's a runaway train of just like this laundry. I hope she never listens to this show because she'll just hate it. She's like, she doesn't. This batch of laundry no, she doesn't. She doesn't listen to me in real life, much less a fucking recording of me. So it's like this batch of laundry needs to be.
She'll see that.
This batch of laundry needs to be this version, this batch of laundry. Anyway, so like, I realized I contrasted it to how much laundry that I do. And I'm like, I don't do any fucking laundry. And then it made me think, when was the last time I changed my shirt? And I'm like, fuck, man, it's been like 3 or 4 days since I changed my shirt. And so I think that compounds 5 times, 6 times more during the winter time where I'm like, I'm just not getting out of these clothes.
Oh, yeah. I don't even shower during winter time.
I get into these habits.
So
we've been there. We've had this conversation.
And so now I'm wearing these clothes that are probably 6 sizes too big for me. I'm not going into a space of like personal care, like personal grooming or whatever the heck. And man, it can get out of control really, really quickly. So to your point, Matty, I have to program myself, that superpower that you're talking about. That kicks in early whenever I'm having a meal where I'm like, oh, I think I'm full. Yeah. Then I take a measure of like, am I really full? And then eventually I go, my brain just goes like, yeah, like, the thing that your girlfriend says, which is like, that's enough. Like you're not going to die. That's plenty.
But let me ask you something,
walk away
Eric.
And go do something else.
Did you build up this skill? Because from what I remember, I've never seen any pictures, but I remember people saying that back
I want to show you some.
You used to be pretty overweight. Am I right?
Buddy, I've got a photo of you and me in Emerald City the first time that we did the show, right? And then I have a photo of me and Dave Johnson in San Diego ComiCon on my phone as a reminder. Okay. To be like, look, these are that first guy ate the second guy, I want to find it. And I want to send you the photo of you and me. It's like it just looks like we're having like, it's the first time that you and I are meeting. And it just looks like, hey, these two guys are pleasant. They're never going to be in a podcast insulting each other ever. These guys are just they are going to turn out to be really good friends. They're going to be in a romantic comedy movie, on the opposite side of each other. I mean, I want to be able to show it to you, but it won't upload to my computer for whatever reason. And then I want to show you the one that I took with Dave Johnson years and years ago. But yeah, to answer your question,
you show it to me later. But we'll let Jamie putting up the picture.
Yeah. But no, I had to train myself because, again, it goes back to what you're similar to what you're talking about in regards to your upbringing. You know, my mother wouldn't let me leave the dinner table having any sort of food on my plate. So eventually you start thinking like, you know, and then, you know, I start developing really, and this goes back to us living lives as artists, where you do things a lot out of, maybe not in Italy, because I know you guys do a lot of, like, culturally, you do a lot of cooking there, you know, but over here, and then just Shawn, in your household, similar to you personally did a lot of cooking, but for me, it started to become a matter of convenience. What's the easiest thing that I can do right now so that I can get back to drawing because I have a deadline, you know what I mean? And then that starts building into just you as a person and these habits that you built, and you start getting lazy, you know? You don't start thinking about cooking for yourself. So now there's not even that looking at the food that you prepare before you put it, you know, you're not preparing food anymore. You're seeing the end product. You're not necessarily, you know, you're not active in the idea of like, or in the exercise of making it. So you don't even know what's in there, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I had to retrain my brain into like, yeah, that's good enough. You know, that's, first of all, I'll cook it. And then at the very least, I know what's in it, you know? And then secondly, every time that I'm out eating someplace else, that same muscle, if not physical, just a mental one flexes that goes like, I probably can't finish. This is a ton of food, you know? So I'll pick out the portion that I know has the best nutritional value as I put it into my body. And the weird thing is, when you're early in your life, I'm not talking just in your career, in your life, these are not the considerations that you think about.
Oh yeah.
You know, these aren't the things that even goes into your head. Yeah. Right.
Well, because, you know,
I'm looking at my son pack away a donut that's the size of his head. Yeah. You know, and that's bad parenting, by the way. You should not be feeding your kids donuts. But, you know, it doesn't impact him right now, except for the psychological component, which is like, eventually you understand, like, I need to tell him, you don't make that breakfast, you know, set him up for success that way. But right now, even if he ate the whole thing, which he does not, right? Like, he doesn't feel the impact of that, you know?
Not at all.
Well, I eat any quantity of sugar and my body just goes like, you idiot. You know, we are going to punish you for the next 48 hours for putting sugar into your body, this level of sugar into this kind of processed sugar into your body. So these are the considerations that start happening once I turned a certain age, and especially once I started having children and going like, I need to be able to be alive long enough for you to see you guys leave my house, because I want to be able to enjoy a version of my life where you're not here.
Do you think you're going to make it?
So say again?
Do you think you're going to make it to that date?
No, dude. I am no. Oh my God. This is only half a joke, but there's a tree in my backyard that I don't tell anybody about, but I am slowly digging a hole next to that tree that I'm going to climb into in about 5 years.
That's why you're losing weight, because you don't want the hole to be too big.
So you can fit in the hole.
Yeah, that's the great part about. He doesn't want to have to dig
a bigger hole.
No, this is the no. Actually, what happens? That's true. Obviously, I don't want to keep digging. I'm like, oh man, I don't even fit into this one. You know, this is. But here's the thing: just the nature of the weather here in Oregon, right? It rains, so mud just keeps going back into the hole, and I keep having to fucking dig it out. So if you see any sort of like me shedding any weight at all, it's because that hole doesn't stay dug for very long.
That's your daily exercise.
And I need it to be. Yeah, that's it. Just digging my own grave is my own fucking daily exercise, dude. I like how crazy that gets.
That's like, a nice metaphor for life.
Do you think you're going to make it? And the answer, I buzzed in like it was Jeopardy. I was like, man, nope. I'm not going to make it. Things are falling apart very quickly. Shawn, you've had I've seen you get into that. Like Shawn does this thing where I think it's a good flex where you do can you still do a handstand?
Yeah, I do it every day.
Is that like a thing that you prove to yourself? Is that like your skinny jeans? Like you put it on and you're like, oh, I still fit these jeans. Like, do you do a handstand to prove to yourself that you're still capable of doing it?
Yes.
You do understand at some point you're not gonna be able to do that anymore.
I know. But look, I'm 51
soon,
and I can still do it.
I can tell.
No,
Okay.
I'm still good. I did it this morning. I was in full control. It was great.
By the way,
were you doing it in front of the person that you stole that shirt from?
I'm just.
Hey, bro, I do a handstand, will you give me your shirt?
I just visualized the way the three of us are gonna die, like individually. So Shawn is gonna wake up one day, do his usual headstand, but he's gonna crash and break his skull. Right. So this is the way he's gonna die.
Okay.
Eric is gonna fall.
Osteoporosis.
Eric is digging one morning, and then it's raining. He's gonna slip and finishing into the mud and just die covered by mud, and nobody's gonna be able to find him.
Yeah.
They just find the shovel, and that's it. And I'm gonna die as I'm eating pasta. That's it. They're gonna serve me like one day. I'm gonna go to a restaurant. And they're gonna serve me like a full car of pasta, and I'm gonna keep eating it like a dog that doesn't know where the limit is. And I'm just gonna die like that.
I'll say this,
Matteo.
Can I tell you about the scenario in which I slip and fall into the hole and the mud gets on top of me? Like, that sounds horrible, except for this part. I'm gonna be smiling the entire time. I am gonna welcome the 50, 80, 100 pounds worth of mud and dirt that's on top of me. I'm not even gonna struggle. I'm just gonna slip. I'm like, oh, it's my time. You know what I mean? And it just like starts piling on top of me. And with a smile on my face, I will go into the next version, happily.
The next version is
warm embrace of muddy death.
Matteos, so New York ComiCon, keep your Saturday night open. We're going out for all you can eat pasta. I'll film your death.
That's okay. So that's the day I'm gonna die. Okay, it's gonna be like Saturday. Let's check what day it is.
New York ComiCon. Hey, how crazy is your guys' New York? How crazy are your guys' New York Comic-Cons as far as like work and during the show activities and post show activities?
What do you mean? How crazy is it? Like how busy?
I mean, sometimes you guys line up some crazy stuff to do, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you guys are like, "Hey, let's go do a bank heist really quick and wear the same shirts." I remember.
Well, this year Matteo's going to be there with his family.
This year's going to be different.
I don't know that we'll be doing too much.
Yeah, I'll be there with my family.
Are you going to be lonely, Shawn? Are you lonely when Matteo's not doing stupid things with you?
He's bringing the family too, right?
I'm bringing Zoe. Zoe's coming with me.
Oh, all right.
She turned 21 this weekend, so she's excited.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I wanted to say happy birthday, Zoe.
There you go, Zoe.
Happy birthday. Congratulations on surviving 21 years with your father.
But, Jim will be there, and Tommy's going to be there. So we'll have some.
You don't sound too excited. I think, Matteo, I genuinely
I'm going to miss Matteos.
Yeah. Usually that was our little vacation because usually for New York, we take at least 1 or sometimes 2 extra days, and to do our stuff and
shopping with each other like a bunch of weirdos.
Wait, Eric,
my brother takes me out and we go shopping. All right. And
1 year we were at the Yotel. You know how small that bed is, that little Yotel bed? Yeah. We had to share that little ass room and that bed together. We were up one night reading comics. It was pathetic.
Did you guys make a fucking tent out of the blankets? You bunch of.
We should have.
You bunch of fucking.
But
kids.
I'm gonna make sure for this New York. Sorry, it's gonna be quick here. And
go.
I'm gonna try and make sure to have like one evening in which I'm free. So we'll do something.
Cool.
In which you
definitely
kill your family because you've gone stupid shark mode.
No, but there's a friend of my girlfriend as well. So she's always gonna be having somebody with her. So it's for one night. That's do something else. It's gotta be fine. I think. I didn't ask yet. But
wait. You're going to leave your girlfriend, your as of yet non-talking child, and then her best friend in New York, where their English is like limited.
Yeah.
And you're like, good luck over there, you know?
Well, I mean, during the show, that's what they're going to do. Like, they're going to be visiting and stuff. But that's a lot of people do that. Like, there's a lot of, like, it's New York. My girlfriend's family did it a few years ago, and they can't, like, my girlfriend speaks some English. They don't speak any English at all. And somehow they managed to do it. So it's going to be fine.
This is a good story for the police. You know, like I like this. I like this alibi that you're establishing right now. All right. I want to go back to something that Shawn had said, like you guys were reading comics. Are you guys reading comics now still? Anything?
Yeah, I'm reading that. I'm still on that Zoe Thurgood book. And then I got Little Bird. I'm going to read after that.
Listen, can we make a pact in which we actively read more comics?
Yeah, that's the promise that
I
made, like, to myself a few months ago, and then I didn't live up to it. So yeah, I gotta do it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dang critical. It's not necessarily mainstream. Nothing says what comics you read. You know what I mean? Like ultimately, It's up to you what you put on your table. But I just ended up downloading a lot of comics this morning. I can tell you which ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and a part of me was excited by the idea, but also a part of me was like super cynical by it because I was like, I'm not going to read any of these fucking comics. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I bother downloading them. But this is like 3 a.m. when I'm thinking the most about my mortality and obviously the level of morbidity where I'm like, I think I'm going to die. You know, like at 3 a.m. That's what I'm thinking. I might die. But now would be a good time. I'm really comfortable in this bed. Yeah. No, don't just hold my breath for the, like I have enough discipline to just hold my breath until I pass out and die. But like I go, I'm probably not going to, am I going to am I going to read any of these comics, you know? And I thought like, you know, rather than asking myself what a weird question that is, like I'm going to make a conscious effort to read more. There were some really, really good ones in there. I can't remember for the life of me. It's 3 a.m. which one they were, but I bet you if I opened up my iPad over there, I would be able to.
When do you find like is a good time for you to schedule reading? That's the hard part I have.
What do you mean? Like you forget how to read in the middle of the day?
No. When you have time, like when can you schedule? Like where do you have time to fit that in?
Shawn forgets how to read at a certain time of day.
Well, yeah, sometimes it doesn't know how to count
right now,
and sometimes it forgets how to read. So that's what he does. It's this thing.
At the beginning of the day, he doesn't know how to count. Somewhere in the middle of the day, he doesn't know how to read.
I think they're how do you say, like complementary? Like when he counts, he can't read. You know, it's either letters or numbers.
I can't do both.
You can't do both. They're mutually exclusive.
He's like, he looks at his watch and he's like this. He's like, oh fuck, it's Tuesday. Am I counting today or reading today? Which one is this?
He counts on even days.
All right, chat. Yeah. He's like, any day that starts with a T, that's when I'm counting. And the other ones are optional, counting or reading. All right, let's see. When is the best time for, I don't know, man. Like, when is it for you? When's the most ideal?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I'm squeezing in like a little bit here and there, but I would love to have like a dedicated time where I can just turn everything off and read.
You make it seem like you don't have control of that. Is your day and your schedule out of control right now?
Yeah.
You're kidding. Like it's just out of, like you look at your calendar and you're like, none of this is feasible for me. Like I can't keep this track.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that why you're not wearing a shirt that even belongs to you? Like you literally forgot to bring a shirt on the drive-in from the fucking house to the studio. You didn't even have a top. You barely had pants and you had one sock, right? Like you were in the, yeah.
One
you were
sock,
on a,
yes.
Yeah,
one
you had
sock.
a, you,
He's
that
not
was,
wearing
you didn't
underwear
come
or
in the car.
anything
You were
downstairs.
No, he is, but it's on his arm right now. Like he doesn't even know how to put it on his fucking legs, you know? Driving a bicycle that's probably your son's. You're like, you forgot everything. You just needed to make this one thing. How do you let your schedule get that level of like unmanageable?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Put words together. This is the time for talking. There's a time for reading. There's a time for numbers.
Are we gonna be having a black and white moment?
I'm not saying anything. You guys are doing this. Don't put
I
it
saw
on
it
me.
starting in your
Don't put it
face.
on
You were like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go again. The black and white train of sadness.
No, seriously, how does your schedule get away? Matteo, hold on.
Okay,
Point of
I have a
reference.
suggestion.
Matteo,
if
does
you
your
can't
schedule
find it,
ever
Shawn.
get away from you?
Sorry?
No, does your schedule ever get away from you? Do you ever look at your calendar and go like, fuck, man, this is out of control?
No, I always have that feeling that it's getting out of control, but it never does at the end.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm trained after 15 years of working. I'm like, I have this inner thought of like, no, calm down. You made it last week. You made it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, until back to 15 years ago. You've always made it. So you got to make it this time as well, even if it doesn't look like you're gonna. So no worries.
We've got to find a way to bottle that sort of training and hand it over to Shawn, because I think there are times, Shawn, when you are like 100% Bruce Banner, under control, scientific mind. You have what do you call it? You have a regimen, right? Mm-hmm. You take a look at your calendar and you can like, I don't know, it's like this weird game of chess that you play with your calendar. And I see it. I'm like, whoa, Shawn's 100% under control of his like schedule right now, 100% in control of his calendar. But right now you're a fucking raging lunatic of a Hulk and you're just destroying everything in front of you.
He's turning green as we speak.
We got to get that.
Wait, but Matteos, you said
radiation.
You had a suggestion.
I have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
You do lunch break, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do it right after lunch break. You take like 20 minutes instead of watching whatever you do. Like I usually watch. Like,
see that was a
part of an episode of a TV show. You just read a comic. You just give yourself a timer of 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on what, how soon you need to be back working. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Eric, I'll tell you what throws off the schedule. It's the family. It's the family. It's like I have to leave the studio early to get a kid here, and then I lose time and I come back to the studio, and then a few days of that, and I've lost a few hours, and then everything's falling behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, listen, just for the sake of potentially... Hold on, Matteos. I need to be able to say this because it's important, right? Like, just for the sake of coverage and like when we're in the court giving our fucking statement to the judge, we had no idea that he was going to stab that many people. Like back to back to back. We had we have 0%. That was not a cry for help at all. We didn't see it that way. We were just talking about schedules. Yeah. Judge, future lawyers that's going to be interrogating us. We had 0% idea. Yeah.
So today we figured out how Eric, Matteos, and Shawn will die, and now we're figuring out how Shawn's family will die.
Yeah, no, actually, it's going to be in, what do you call it? It's going to be in chronological order, right? Before you experience the bone-breaking osteoporosis that's going to take your life, you're going to be stabbing a lot of people in your family. You know what I mean? It's like right before that is you with a kitchen knife.
But so, Shawn, don't your kids drive yet?
Zoe does. Zach does not.
And does Zoe has a car?
We are working. Yeah, but she's also working full time. So when she can help out, she does. But she's also working a lot.
No. I was just asking. Just asking to understand the whole situation, the complete 100%. To have a 100% visual on the situation.
Yeah. Eventually, obviously we'll end up talking about this offline. Eventually we're going to need to powwow about like how the time management is going to go. Because once you start on your book, pal, right, it's going to be that much more critical that this time is blind. And, you know, comics reading aside, which is a great sort of, it's almost like a dessert. It's almost like a treat, right? But at some point, the calendar to do your book is going to be that much more critical.
I know.
I'm here to help.
This is why.
I'm here to help.
Thank you, but this is why, like, I'm not like deep in it. It's like I keep ending up in these situations where I'm just full just to get by, and just I don't have that extra time. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I have a suggestion, right? Matteo's not doing anything. Just hire him to do, you know, have him do your book. He's practically doing everybody else's book for them anyway. You might as well just
I'll do covers.
Tap into that and be like, all right, speaking of projects and covers, Matteos, what are you up to right now as we're barreling towards the end of this episode? What are you doing?
So I'm doing covers. I had to stop for a second doing my book, which is still at 24 pages done so far. And I'm just doing a bunch of covers for it's a lot of Batman stuff and other stuff. Some covers that I promised to friends back then, months ago. And that's what fucks me when they ask me now for like, oh, it's gonna be in 6 months. So of course I'm gonna say, yeah, of course, it's 6 months. And then when the time comes, like a couple of weeks before that deadline, they're like, oh, so you're gonna do the cover, right? I'm like, fuck. But yeah, it's too late. How about you guys?
Shawn's turn. What are you up to, pal?
I have the cards, the Marvel cards. I'm doing the cover for Ramon's studio raid for their next anthology. I'm doing.
That look cool. Yeah.
Thank you. And I have some commissions I gotta knock out for Dragon Con this weekend.
Oh, you're doing Dragon Con. Awesome.
Oh, Dragon Con. Yeah.
That's great.
Say hello to Jeff Ducal for me, will you? I know.
I will. You guys should come in for Dragon Con.
That's what we call Jeff now, the Dragon.
The Dragon. I'll tell him that.
No, I had plans to go, remember? It just didn't end up working out as far as like, I'm going to miss that opportunity. Sorry about that, pal. I'm about to cancel on you last minute.
No, I understand. I get it. I totally get it.
Okay, what am I working on? Currently, I'm working on Arc Athena Volume 2, which is what I'm writing.
Oh, shit. Nice.
I'm trying to find out I've never had to do it before, and I don't know if you guys would understand this challenge, but it's multiple. It's like a cast of people, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how Chris Claremont juggled that many characters.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He had to have an A plot, which I've never had to do this, so it scares the shit out of me, but I'm excied by it at the same. It scares me in the best way possible. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Eric,
which is there needs to be the main plot. What?
You know what I think it is? I think that Claremont is smart and you're not. But it's just my opinion, okay?
That's probably true. No, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. If there is a petition that says that's the one I need to sign, I'll sign it. No, I'm not offended. It's absolutely 100% true. But it's still, in my stupidity,
I understand.
It's still going to make me want to try it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right. So I've never had to do it before. So trying to understand, first of all, how to do. I mean, the idea of having like an A plot and a B plot, it's not difficult. But obviously, in about 5 to 6 issues, I need to bring all of that shit together, and I've never had to do that before. So it's exciting to think about, coming up with the process, and obviously the plan of how to do it, the strategy of how to do it. And I need to be able to reach out to a couple of our writer friends and be like, how do you do that? What's the formula to make that work well? And so I'm trying to come up with that now, because I want to be able to challenge myself with the next thing,
But do you do,
so that's one.
Do you do because usually what I do when I have to build up a story, like I'm talking like I do it every day. It's just, I just wrote 2 books in my life. But so what I do is I have something that it's interesting to me, at least an interesting idea for the beginning, and then I know where I want to go. and then I start working in between those 2 points in order to, make sense of everything. Do you do that so you have an ending already in your head for volume 2?
I do.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm also working in my own head about like, the first book, the theme of it was like, leadership, accountability, and responsibility, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So so I'm like trying to come up with that same kind of theme, not same kind of theme, but like a theme for this next one, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do I do that now? Apply that theme to 2 different storylines. That's a great challenge, and I'm excited to do it.
And then on top of that, the subject, pasta, cake, and apples.
That's probably not going to be it, but I'm going to put that right on the list near the bottom. Near the bottom of the category. Don't do this because this is stupid and it's not going to sell. So the thing that I'm trying to do also is the trailer for book 4. Mm-hmm. And I think I showed you guys a couple of in our private chat. I showed you some of the drawings for it. I have to assemble that now. I have to assemble that in Final Cut Pro and see how it all works out, because there's what's interesting is like there's a version of it in at least in my head of like how it should flow, and I do it. I'm like, fuck, this doesn't work because it doesn't give the information. Shawn was actually talking about this offline, where he's like, let's talk about how you build that trailer so that you can, what's the strategy? What's the thing that you do whenever you're building it? And I wish we had an opportunity to, instead of talking about fucking Matteo's mental condition.
Let's do that next time, because I do want to have that conversation.
Just one last question before we close the whole thing. So you said volume 2. So basically, you have volume 1, which is what, like 6 books?
Yep.
Okay, so now book 4 is soon to be out. Then you'll have 5 and 6, and then volume 2 starts. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. There's also, it's exciting times, and I want to, if and when you guys are ready to start doing the publishing thing, I love talking about the process. Mm-hmm. I love talking about this hat that we have to wear now that we're publishing our own shit. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's exciting, because it's like I want to tell you guys all the things that I didn't know about, and I didn't even know how to ask the question because I didn't know anything about it. Like, whatever, I want to be able to talk to you guys about it once we get into that space.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're 6 minutes over, and I'm fucking starving. So I'm gonna go. All right. I'm gonna hit this off button now. All right, guys, it's always fun. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.